Is there a work into the bill with the fiscal cost of legal challenges?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Is there a work into the bill for legal challenges that I presume are going to show up left and right?
Is there work in the bill?
Like, is there when lawsuits
happen?
Yeah. Are we prepared for that with this ACA?
We have a very robust Department of Justice that is prepared to defend new laws that are passed by the legislature. Yes.
The way that the districts are drawn, it's really worries me that it makes it possible for us to not just spend the $300 million to get this onto the ballot, but then to open up our communities in the state of California into more litigation. So when the lawsuits happen and at the local county level as well, because they're split up, who's going to pay for that?
Well, actually, a big distinction between these maps that were drawn in California and the maps that are currently being passed by the state of Texas, for example, are California's maps strictly abide by the Federal Voting Rights Act, which the Texas maps don't. And so we've actually put ourselves in a very good position to defend the maps that have been drawn because the Voting Rights Act and the principles of the Voting Rights Act were taken into very high consideration when those maps were drawn.
Well, that's interesting. The statement that you made is that Texas did not follow that.
Correct.
Okay.
It's bad.
So does that mean that Texas has to redraw?
It depends on what the courts do. I'm not a judge.
Okay.
Again, can we bring the conversation back to the merits of ACA 8?
This bill is written specifically triggering if Texas redistricts.
Right.
So it's in the bill. The name Texas
Oh,
is
so
in the bill.
is the question if Texas's maps are thrown out,
which
would this move forward? Is that
maybe
the question?
I can ask your
I'll go ahead and ask.
Legal counsel,
but so the question is, just so I understand the question, if Texas's maps are determined to be unconstitutional by the courts, then would that actually trigger for the ACA? I think that's the question.
Well, it actually states if they get a court order, it doesn't trigger it.
Well, so that was put in there, I believe, in regards to some other states, maybe Ohio, is it?
Yeah.
That
Florida,
Florida has some different situations. For Texas, that's the legislature. There's no court, and I know you alluded earlier to the Federal Department of Justice. They're not a court, even though I know Trump wants them to be. And so that is not actually, when the DOJ sends a letter to Texas, that's not a court order. But if, I believe your question is, if the Texas maps are thrown out by the courts, would California, and no other state has passed a partisan gerrymander, would Californians move forward? Am I understanding just the crux of the question?
Yes.
Great. Do you have thoughts on that?
So the way as you point out, the way that the trigger works in the measure is that it's only triggered if, or it would not be triggered if another state, including Texas, is forced to redistrict, is required to redistrict by a federal court order. So that's correct.
So Texas decided to stop, and then they got a court order. We would put this on the ballot, spend $300 million, and then we couldn't even redistrict because of that work-in, right?
Assembly member, I agree with you that I wish Texas wasn't doing this. And, this was not on my bingo card a month ago when we broke for summer recess. But unfortunately, under the edict of President Trump, Texas Republicans are rushing through
but that's not accurate.
A partisan redistricting.
There was a lawsuit
in the
Pettyway v. Galveston
in
County.
Texas. I just asked for the same the common courtesy that you demanded. Thank you, sir.
But there was
and so I'm sorry.
Again, one person at a time, please. Thank you.
And so when Trump demanded, I'm sorry, let me get this straight. When Trump said out loud that he was entitled to 5 additional Republican congressional districts in Texas, which for the record is an insane thing for any president of the United States to think, let alone say out loud. But when he said that he was entitled to 5 more Republican congressional districts in Texas, and all of the Texas legislators immediately lined up to do whatever Trump wanted, that forced us to put this together, not because we want to, but because we have to. And that's why the trigger language is in, the constitutional amendment that says if Texas backs down, which I really hope they do. If Texas backs down from their partisan gerrymander per the edict of Trump and his entitlements, then this will not go into effect. And that's exactly why that's there.
So, and that's what I'm saying is because of previous lawsuits like Pettyway v. Galveston County, which went through in Texas at the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals and is now sitting on the docket for the Supreme Court to weigh in on, that happened in Texas, claiming that some of their districts were seen as unconstitutional. That if they receive a court order, and this is why it's important to me, if they receive a court order because they back down and stop, then we in the state of California are about to spend $300 million to do nothing. So that's the part that is the issue.
Okay, I think, all right, we have a point of order.